It is bright and early on a Friday morning, and this is for you. This is going to be your first mother function quiz, and this is the practice sheet. It's actually just a graphing quiz. It's not really a mother function quiz. The first 6 are rote memorization. They're key functions in algebra. First off, we have y equals x, and when you take a quiz, it'll say you need 3 key points. Your practice sheet will probably say it too. I just haven't finished editing. But you'll need 3 key points. And you can either memorize them or you just think about what it takes to make them. You plug in a 1, you obviously get the same thing back. You don't have to make the table, okay? But you have 3 key points and you need to plot them. They need to be visible. All right, there's y. Down beneath that, it talks about its domain and range. Those are important. Domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. Range is negative infinity to positive infinity. And I don't have to reference which notation you use, but you need either interval or set builder, not a mixture. All right. What I mean by that is don't do your domain all values of element and use an interval. Okay, so I want to see one or the other. I don't want to. It's funny that kids do that. Write both of them down because I can. But pick on one or the other. Don't mix them. They're like oil and water. They're not supposed to mix. They're different notations. So y equals absolute value of x, and the key points come from plugging in -1 and 0 and 1. You get 1, 0, 1 back. And again, you don't have to do the table. You just have to know where the key points are, and you have to plot the key points. But you might have to make a table. I don't know. Domain on this one is negative infinity to positive infinity, or all values of x such that x is an element of the real. The domain of this mother function is from 0 to infinity because she rises forever, low value is y, or all values of y such that y is greater than or equal to 0. All right, next up you have x to the second. She also has the same 3 key points. She has the same 3 key points as absolute value. If you take a -1 squared, you get 1. You take a 0 squared, you get 0. You take 1 squared, you get 1. But of course, the difference is she is a parabola. That's what she is. That's what you draw. Her domain and range are same as the v, negative infinity to infinity, or all values of x such that x is an element of the real. Her range is the same as the v. 0 to infinity, you can be the 0, bracket it, or all values of y. So her. I have to edit this one. Nice. Let me pause this, come back, because I just don't want to do the same thing twice. Be right back. Sorry, I had to fix something real quick. I accidentally had the same thing on there twice. So I had to go fix it. Let me move this little dude out of the way. All right. It has one key label. Now, x equals a constant is a vertical plane. That's what she is. I'm just going to draw a vertical line. Doesn't matter where I draw it. Her key is 0, constant 0. This is y equals c, or c is a constant. It could be a 3 or 4, whatever. This is a horizontal line. It has one key point. 0, C. Just has to be horizontal. And the key point for the vertical line is always on the x-axis. For the horizontal line, it's always on the y-axis. Now, I jumped ahead to that, and I should have also done the domain and range of the functions I was looking at, but I did not. So I go back to this vertical line. Her domain is very simple, all right? It's the constant. If you're using set builder, or if you're using interval notation, it's this. The range is top to bottom, forever and ever, negative infinity to infinity. Set builder notation can be all values of such that x equals c. Oh, set builder notation. To the horizontal line, this thing runs left and right forever, so it is negative infinity to infinity, or all values of x such that x is an element of the real. Her range is this one little constant, or values of y equals c. You can do whatever you want. On here because I have noticed throughout the years, I would say 25% of the student body cannot graph a vertical line. They cannot do it. It blows my mind. Anything in the form x equals is vertical. Well, x equals a constant is vertical. Now this one has a singular x value of 4. So I'm just going to put a 4 on the x-axis, and that's where I'm going to draw my vertical line. By the way, arrows are important. They imply that the graph goes on forever and ever. Her range is the easy one, negative infinity to infinity. Or all values of y such that y is an element of the real. The domain on this one is actually really easy too. It's kind of like the mother function of, well, it's not a mother function, the parent function back in 5. It's not even a function, it's about x equals. Anyways, it's a constant. Sorry, and the constant was 4. Or set builder, all values of x such that x is 4. Ta-da! All right, so that's out of the way. I guess I need to do the back side now. Here's the back side. I haven't finished editing it yet, so it's still got some little blocks and stuff on there you won't see on your sheet. This is y equals 3x minus 2. I know there's a number of you that I have this year that cannot graph lines. There's always a few kids, but I noticed from what I found in class, it's quite high. But anyways, it has a y-intercept, and it's right here, and it's equal to 0 and negative 2. And she has a slope equal to 3 because of the line-up process. So I go to negative 2, and then I rise 3, and I run 1. And that's what I need to do. And I only need 2 key points because it only takes 2 points. So 2 key points. I have to go back and edit that and tell you have to write 2 key points. All lines have a domain of negative infinity to infinity, and all lines have a range of negative infinity to infinity. Plain and simple. 7 says you might convert it to y equals mx plus b. So to do such a thing, you're going to move your 4x over because it's a y, anything else on the right. Y equals negative 4, and then divide out this negative 6. And when you're done, you'll have y equals 2/3 x minus 4. And you have a y-intercept at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there, you rise 2, run right 3. So I rise 2 and I run right 3. And she looks something like that. And her domain is still negative infinity to infinity. And her range is still negative infinity to infinity. And notice I didn't do set builder on that. I said you can do one or the other. You don't have to do both. It's up to you. Here we have the absolute value. It's going to be a V. All right. This is opposite. This is right 2. And this is down 2. So I'm going to go right 2 and down 2. And I'm going to put my vertex. That's where my vertex is. This is my kind of slope. Saying I can one, but I have to go both ways, right? All right. Or sorry, under her domains and ranges. Her domain is negative infinity to O, that X is an element of the real, and it's the low values of Y are down here at negative infinity, and the highest value of Y is at negative 2. Set builder notation. All values of Y such that Y is less than or equal to negative 2. And again, you get to pick your poison, one or the other. Almost done with this little graphing quiz. Number 9 is a parabola. It is Y equals, sorry, I didn't say Y equals, does it? Oh well, I'll fix that. 12 plus a 3. So here is a right 1. So right 1 slope. It's 2. I'm going to rise 2 and run 1 both ways. And I'm going to draw a parabola, not a V, a parabola. Parabolas have some curvature, okay? Domain of any parabola in algebra 2 is negative infinity to infinity, or all values of X such that X is an element of the real. The range, the low Y value was right here, 3. And that's where it's at, by the way, when you're in vertex form. And then it rises infinity. All values of Y. Almost done.